All right, so greetings everyone. It's Monday night again. Welcome. My name is Zach Shaheed from Columbus. Well, not from Columbus, Georgia. I live in Columbus, Georgia now, but I'm originally from the Washington D.C. area. And you know what? I'm never alone. I'm never alone. Tonight I have the awesome Mr. Muhammad Mahdi here with me to share his input and his thoughts on this topic. The topic is stop blaming Monday. It's your job that sucks. And the sub conversation is elevate your conversations. Now, for those of you who are new to this blab session, I'm going to tell you how this lab came about. So about 2 months ago, I was sitting at home watching Sunday Night Football with a good friend of mine. And as the game started to end, no matter of fact, it was halftime. As the game started going to halftime, my friend started making all these noises. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He was sitting on the couch going, man. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking he's upset about the results of the game because his team was losing. But really, he told me he was upset because Monday morning was coming. And you all know, just like I know, Monday morning is the stats are out there. The heart attack rate goes up every Monday morning. So I'm sitting here looking at my friend like, dude, are you really upset that tomorrow's Monday? He's like, yeah, Zach, man, I got to wake up early. I got to be there at 6 a.m. and blah, blah, blah. So I said, wait a minute, let's back up. Because Monday is a beautiful day. It starts the week off. It's a beautiful day. So it's not Monday's fault. So if you're really upset with Monday, is it the place you're going to on Monday or is it really Monday? And he finally admitted to me, he said, well, Zach, it really is the place I have to go to. So you know what? I called Muhammad up, say, hey, man, we need to do a blab on this because I'm pretty sure there are other people out there every single Sunday night, they feel like, hey, Monday sucks. And it's not Monday's fault. So you know what? I was like, let's change this conversation up. Let's find ways to give people solutions to this problem. Because obviously, if there are a lot of people feeling like this, what is going to be the solution? So Mahdi, chime in real quick and kind of give your input.
Sure. When you have pain, you got to point it at some. You got to point a finger at something. You're having pain, right? Whenever you have pain, you got to point your finger at something, right? It just hurts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people are quick to. It's easier to point the finger at Monday than it is to say, well, this decision that I've made is not a good decision, because nobody wants to rock their own self-concept, that concept of your ability to make good decisions. And the cool thing about decisions are that you can change them, often as needed. And for many of us, there's a lot of people all around the globe that have been plagued with this last issue. I mean, we've got so many things going on, so many advances in medicine, so many advances in technology, so many great things are going on. But this last thing that's been plaguing humankind from the beginning, and that is, how in the world do I break free of the grind, grind, and leave off this thing of trading my precious time for a dollar? And we've been duped into believing that you have to be at a certain location at a certain for a certain number of hours, performing a certain task in order to expect some remuneration, for the work that you've done, so that you can take care of your affairs, whatever your monthly affair is, be it whatever it is, rent, mortgage, whatever it is, depending upon where you live. And it doesn't matter where you live on the planet. Everybody's having the same issue, and they've been having that issue for the longest. Is there a way for me to break free and spend my time doing the things that I enjoy most and still be able to take care of my obligations? That's the question. And when you find yourself stuck, it doesn't matter, whether it's a job or whether it's, when you were younger, it was your physical development. You wanted to get bigger. You wanted to be faster. You wanted to jump higher. Whatever it was. When you find yourself at getting stuck, you're looking for ways to get to the next plateau, because that's how humans are. We always want to excel. We want to advance. And so if you have this feeling of being stuck, it's a pain, man. You know, nobody wants to feel trapped.
Mm.
And so I think that's where it comes from. I think that's where everyone is getting the anxiety from. A lot of people die, heart attacks, you know, on Monday because of this whole anxiety about having to go to a place that you don't want to be. And so, what's the simple solution for that? Or should we deal with the pain a little bit more? What's the simple solution is a decision. Now, the decision is it's not necessarily that cut and dry for a lot of people because they have to really think, depending upon where in the world you live, you know, okay, what else do I do? I know I don't want to do this, but what else do I do? And is there a way for me to for me to piece by piece, you know, inch by inch, move away from the point where I was to get to this other place that I really want to be? I think that there is. I think you could do that, you know, but it has to start with a definite decision that I've got to change.
Hey, absolutely. I call it, one of my mentors told me a while ago, it's called getting mad, making a decision.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make a decision that you're going to change. And I want to real quick address a question that was in here from Mr. Webmaster Duke. He asked, so what do we do?
Awesome.
He said, what do we do? And I told him a couple of different things. Now, first of all, we have a movement called Create Lifestyle Freedom. Now, Webmaster says that
community.
Being your own boss, being an entrepreneur is the ultimate freedom. And you know what? I totally agree. He's actually coming to take a seat right now too. So let's let him in and get his feedback. So
awesome.
We have a movement. Hey, welcome. How's it going, brother?
What's up, man? What's up? How y'all doing today? How y'all doing?
Awesome, man. So tell everybody your name and where you're from.
My name is Duke, Webmaster Duke. I'm from all over, man. I'm from this world, man. But, you know, I was born in Syracuse, New York. You know, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. You know, I've been here for about 5 years or whatever, you know. They just had CIAA out here. So, you know, I didn't get out because I was too busy working, you know, working on my financial freedom. I'm actually CEO of.
Mm-hmm. So what are you doing with that, Duke? And I think you were just about to tell us. Go right ahead.
No problem, man. Yeah, much respect to you, man. So I'm actually a tech founder. So I'm the founder of the world's first Black search engine. So it's like a Black Google. If you go to ebonomy.com, I just launched it last week. So, you know, we got 5,000 searches our first week too. So we're doing pretty good, man. But it's economy with a B. It's ebonomy.com. So it's basically a search engine. You can search for anything, and all of the web search results are supposed to be Black-owned businesses. We're still filtering out some URLs. We got different sources of how we get the URLs. So, you know, some of those sources are, you know, you got some companies that come through that just drop their links in there, but I'll put a link in the box. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely put your link in there, because we want to connect with you, man, and kind of, you know, support what you're doing here. So you're a business owner, which is a great thing. So kind of tell us, based on the topic of tonight of Stop Blaming Monday, what made you make a decision you want to be an entrepreneur?
Well,
and then after you made the decision, how did you transition from wherever you were prior to this to where you are now? How did you make that transition? That's the $100 million question.
Two great questions, right? So, you know, I was working in corporate America. You know, I worked for, you know, big company building, you know, tech products basically as the chief engineer, and I was making good money, which made it even harder for me to get out of that cycle. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, because the check was so comforting to me, right? You know, I'm making, you know, I had an office uptown by the Panther Stadium. You know, I'm making great money, and, you know, it just came to a point where I just wanted to be free, because I realized that no matter how much money I made working for somebody else, I was always going to be a slave to the paycheck, because I was trading time for money. And, you know, the thing was, you know, I realized that in order for me to get to where I wanted in life, I had to do things on my own. I had to get some passive income coming, some money that can come in, a system that, you know, I can make money off of, you know, even when I'm not working per se, you know what I mean? So, you know, passive income, you know, I mean, anything is going to be working. I work even harder now, to be honest with you, than I worked when I was working for corporate America. But the thing is, now I choose my schedule. I get to stay home. You know, I wake up when I want to. I go to sleep when I want to. You know, I don't got as much pressure, even though, you know, I think, you know, sometimes we do ourselves a disservice by, you know, not working as hard for ourselves as we work for, you know, somebody else. But, and the other question, so you said, now how did I transition? Now that was, I guess.
Everybody wants to know how you get free.
I think, right? You know, for me, you know, I've been through, you know, so many things in life, and I come from the bottom. So, you know, I've been through a lot worse. I always think, what's the worst that can happen? So, you know, once you think of what's the worst that can happen, you picture yourself and your family over this trash can burning, you know, trying to stay warm and stuff. And you realize how insane that is, right? And you start thinking like it would never really get to that point. So you just got to go for it sometimes. You know, I'm fortunate enough to have a wife, you know, my other half that, you know, we work together to keep things, you know, grounded around the house. But, you know, I mean, you know, you just got to take that leap sometimes, man. It's not easy. I'll tell you that. It's scary, man, you know, but, you know, sometimes you got to, you know, sacrifice and make less in order to make more, if that makes any sense. And I just, you know, it's.
So here's the question. To get free, is it that
Absolutely.
most people don't want to sacrifice? They don't want to. They're leaning on the plantation, right? They're leaning on the plantation. The plantation is comfortable. They know it's not good for them, but it's comfortable. It's familiar, right? And so they're leaning on the plantation, and they're not willing to sacrifice that temporary comfort, go through a little pain in order to have ultimate freedom.
Absolutely. Does that kind of sum it up? Is that where we're at? Yeah, I mean, you got to be willing to go through the rough parts, and, you know, I mean, it's only going to make you stronger at the end of the day. You know, I think too often, you know, when we don't see that immediate gratification, because that's what a check provides you with. It's immediate gratification. I worked this week. I know I got a check coming next week. You know, when you got to work, the ultimate test is when you got to work a whole year straight without barely making nothing in order to only get to making half the money you was making when you was working. And then you got to work that year making half the money. And then, you know, once the years keep going on, it's kind of like, you know, when you pump, they used to pump for water and you pump for a long time and nothing come out. Then you keep pumping and you get a couple drips and you might give up when the drips come and say, man, forget this, man, I'm done. But if you would have just kept pumping a little bit more, then you would have had the stream coming out. And, you know, like that stream is what I think that we all aim to get to. But, you know, I think that exactly.
But you got to prime the pump, as they call it, before you get there. You got to prime the pump. So on this subject of breaking free and the scary part of it, because my job sucks, but I need elevation. My job sucks, but I need freedom. What are the things that are the sticking points, the fear factors that keep a lot of people from taking that next step? Webmaster, Zach, share with me some of the sticking points. What are the things that make a person say, well, I don't know if I want to do that right now. I probably need to just wait. In other words, they kick a dream to the curb. They kick their core inner vision to the curb. What makes them do that?
I think kind of breaking up too, Muhammad. You might
what happens?
Well, to answer your question, I think what happens is Webmaster, he said majority of it, right? That people get comfortable. Like they got to understand that their comfort zone is their failure zone. So Robert Kiyosaki in his book, you know, Cashflow Quadrant, talks about how dangerous a steady paycheck is, because people get so used to that steady paycheck that they feel like they can give up on their dream when all they're doing is building a dream for somebody else. And they got to get to a point where it hurts bad enough. I think most people, the pain just don't hurt bad enough. So they choose to stay where they are because they're like, okay, I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. You know, they get comfortable with their paycheck when really, yeah, like Duke said, you can leave that job and you may make less money in the beginning, but what's the ultimate price you're going to pay? The ultimate price you're going to pay is freedom. You have the freedom to do what you want. Like, I mean, webmaster, tell me it's true. There's no better feeling being at home knowing you're gonna be there when your wife get home. I don't know if you have kids, being there for your
Yeah, I
kids.
got 2 daughters, man. So I got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. So I mean, that's my. I mean, even though sometimes it could be a distraction, but you know, it's lovely having that financial freedom. You know, like Robert Kiyosaki explains it, that freedom of time. You know what I mean? That's true financial freedom, is having freedom of time when you're not in that rat race anymore, right? You know what I mean? Cashflow Quadrant, that was a great book too. By the way, yeah, I read that. That was a good book.
Man, absolutely, because you said it, freedom of time. Because what people have to understand is time is the one thing we can never get back. Like,
Absolutely.
you can go broke and make all your money back, but you will never get that time back, man. And you know, I've been blessed, Duke. Man, when I was growing up, man, my dad, he always owned his own business. And growing up, he has taught me own your own business. And you know, my mom's down here visiting right now, and my mom has not worked for 34 years because my dad has had his own business. So to me, that impressed upon me that, hey, that's what I need to be doing, because you control your time. You know, if I had a basketball game, guess what? My dad can choose to come to it. You know, whereas most people, if they're working a job, your boss is telling you when you can take a lunch break, when you can see kids, what time you have to be at work, and there's no freedom in that. So people got to understand the price you're gonna pay is freedom. And I mean, it's a great price to pay, because time is the one thing we can never ever get back.
So, Webmaster Duke, let me put this to the panel, but absolutely to you because you're here with us. Zach, I want to put it to you. A lot of people think that in order to break free, I personally have to have all the answers. I personally have to put up all the money. I personally have to provide most of the creative energy. And I'm wondering, is that true? Or are we living in a time, because of platforms like this, where we can come on a platform, meet somebody from Syracuse, New York, that I've never known before, right? Who is of the same spirit that I am, forge a relationship, right? Develop a relationship and click right off the bat and say, hey, you know what? What are your strong points? What are your strong suits? Where is it that you're going? Because we're all on a journey. What's your strong suits and where are you headed? Here are my strong suits. This is what I bring to the table. Here's where I'm headed. Is it possible that we can lock arms and you know, help each other along the way on this road, instead of having this thinking? And I think that the society that we live in, this North American culture that we live in, American culture, fuels this whole thing of the rugged individualist. And you know, you have to be totally independent, when the real game is being interdependent. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yep.
Where you're locking arms with other people.
Okay.
The people that really are rolling have networks. They have networks. It's not, you know, a single person who's got all the smarts, all the money, all the connections. You know, it's people that bring things to the table, their little bit. But talk to me. I don't want to, you know, that's just my bit. What do you think?
Okay, so I think when we think of the internet, right, we think of it in a limited way. You know, I'm an engineer, so you know, I'm into this world of big data. I build these clustered server environments, right, that you can store massive amounts of data on in these search engines. So we're in an information age. I don't think we quite fathom what that is. So Zach had brought up that, you know, Napoleon Hill book, and you know, one big thing that Napoleon Hill is big on is mastermind groups, right? So how Napoleon Hill explains mastermind groups is that two minds together can accomplish way more than one mind can ever accomplish, you know, in an entire lifetime. But when you get together, you know, like groups, and you know, you're combining your knowledge, and you're building and working with each other, you don't even got to be working on the exact same thing. You know, you move faster. So we think of the internet as, you know, we understand that we can search for anything. It's an information age, but what the internet really, you know, represents to me is a collection of consciousness, right? It's like a huge mastermind group when you think about it. So, you know, I like the concept of just-in-time learning. Being an engineer, we can spend literally our entire lives trying to learn something before we get any work done. You know what I'm saying? So just in time learning is this. You know, as I want to learn and I'm going through something, I can learn, you know, the stuff that I need, and I should wait just until I need that to know that thing and before I start researching it. Because the other downfall of the information age is that, you know, information overload. We got so much information that you could literally get drowned in the information and let time go by, just wasting time completely thinking you're getting somewhere and be running in the same place because it's too much information. You could never go through it all, right? So, you know, I think it's a double-edged sword. Now, yeah, like, you know, when you talk about coming together, you know, with platforms like Blab and Periscope, just social media like Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. Yeah, man, we're in a different day of age right now, man. And I'm really excited about where it's going, man. So, you know, I would like to see more of us forming mastermind groups too, you know, because I think that mastermind groups would play a vital role, you know, in helping, you know, a lot of us to sell and, you know, working together on stuff. I would like to see more of us getting into open source and crowdfunding, because you brought up raising money. You know, crowdfunding is like, you know, we're crowdsourcing money now, where we can all fund each other's ideas on platforms like Indiegogo and Kickstarter, but we have to come together on this stuff. So, you know, I mean, I think the tools are there. Now, if people get it enough, if we're using the tools effectively enough right now, I think we're getting to that point. I think we need to start pushing, though. I think we need to start pushing, you know, more and more for our people to get more in tune. Because, you know, every time I post something from Periscope or Blab, you know, my friends on social media, like, I never heard of this before. You know, where has this been? You know, it's like, you know, people, you know, some people think the internet is like Facebook and Twitter and Google probably at the most. You know what I mean? And they think that Google indexes the whole internet. Google doesn't.
Yeah, well, they stay in a box. Whatever their box is, they stay in their box. People tend to evolve around things that are familiar with it. And if it's not familiar, you know, then they have to go through a whole bunch of changes in order to adopt it. Hey, welcome, Mr. Calvin Buford. How are you, big brother?
Hey, you know, thank you, Muhammad. Listen, listening to Duke, man, I said I just got to cam up because he just went.
There you go.
You know, Duke, you're absolutely right. You know, I know for me personally, I have really been looking forward to meeting multiple people that believe in that concept, because if we can all come together and we can pull from each other's talents, then, you know, we can make a real big noise. But the problem is we just got to get it out there. And I think these type of platforms are taking us in the right direction of where we need to go and the target of where we need to be targeting to. I mean, would you agree with that, Zach?
Man, absolutely, man. Webmaster Duke dropped some nuggets on y'all. I hope if y'all watching this replay, y'all really need to hear what he said. Okay, one thing I heard him say is that people fail to take action because they're getting too much information. Like, information overload, that's a real deal. Like, people will try to soak so much stuff up, like, I'm gonna wait till I know it all. That's what these masterminds are for. Like, these masterminds are for, like he said, that just-in-time information, where before I met Mahdi Duke, I was struggling to make money online. Then I meet Mahdi, and he showed me these different techniques, and that was like, I make money online all the time. You know, it was just in time. But I didn't wait until I got all the information. I took action. Exactly. And if you're somebody watching this right now and you feel like Monday sucks, we're elevating the conversation for you right now, because we're telling you it's time to take action. It's time for you to follow your passion. It's time for you to sacrifice, you know, some things to get what you ultimately want down the line. So these masterminds are very important, man. And, you know, Duke, I believe tonight you came on this Blab, man, just in time. Because guess what? We have a mastermind called Create Lifestyle Freedom. That's our mastermind. 3 simple words that resonate with so many different people, because ultimately people become entrepreneurs because they want to create lifestyle freedom. They want to buy their time back. So, you know, we started a mastermind for those individuals who say, you know what? I want to be that person to stop saying Monday sucks. I want to follow my dream. So now we come together as a collaborative whole and say, okay, here are some things you can do around your niche, so that way you can create lifestyle freedom. And I mean, it's been taking off like crazy, man. We have people all across the globe, you know, screaming that message. and it just gets better and better every single day. So I love platforms like this because the internet is not just Google.
Right.
I mean, the internet is so many different things, but you got to be around the right people to figure that out. And the problem is a lot of people don't change their inner circle. You know, like you said, dude, people on your Facebook have no clue of some of the things you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
The information is out there for them to go get. If they change their inner circle, they'll find it.
Right.
It's different.
And you know what was really refreshing to hear Duke say, he said, you know, he was making a significant amount of money at his job, but he still said that he was going to build his dream on the side. Okay. He's been successful with building his dream on the side, but yet he still understands that it takes a mastermind. Did anybody else just think that was just like almost kind of like profound? I was like sitting here, like just shaking my head, like this is what we're talking about. We're talking about, hey, we know you may be at this level, but hey, we all need to be at this level working together, because if we're all here at this level, then guess what? Now you go from here to here. Goodness gracious.
It's all about the price you want to pay, man. Like, what's the ultimate price you want to pay? Like, my ultimate price is I got a 4-year-old son at home, right? And he loves his daddy time. I mean, he's a daddy's boy all the way. When he become a teenager, I don't want to have to go answer to another man to say, hey, can I please go to his basketball game? What?
Absolutely.
Like, I want to go. Like, so it all boils down to what's the ultimate price you want to pay. You're going to have to sacrifice a little bit on the back end, but God, once it gets going, man, that it's nothing like freedom, man. Nothing like it. Oh, and guess what, guys? I want to welcome, if y'all don't know this guy, if y'all don't know him, the world famous Evan Jefferson. If y'all don't know him, they better go follow Evan. That guy, financial guru. So
well, hey,
just want to shout.
I'm gonna cam down and let him go ahead and cam up and introduce.
No, Calvin, you stay, because I was here just helping Zach get started. I can come back in a little later, but let's let that gentleman come in. I'm going to graciously bow out. Webmaster Duke, I'll probably catch you later on in this conversation. It's a pleasure. I want to make sure that we follow each other on Blab. I can't say that often enough. This relationship that we're building now is not haphazard. It wasn't coincidental. It was meant to happen. People of elevation find each other. And so now that we found each other, we don't want to let each other go. Right. Agreed?
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Definitely. I just followed you on Twitter and Blab. Yeah. So
let me do the same, and I will I'm going to back out and let my dear brother come in. Thank you so much. I'll be back in a little bit.
Awesome. So, Webmaster, are you a part of any masterminds, right now?
No, not formally. I mean, I think of my marriage as a mastermind. So that's, what I mean? My wife, me and my wife, we make up a mastermind, but formally, no, I'm not part of a mastermind yet. So what I was doing, I started building an application, right? And it was based on forming mastermind groups like online. And, I was actually going to build the live video streaming into the website. I actually still have all of the code for it. And I built the functionality around the accountability stuff, creating goals and, hey, how you doing, man? How you doing, Evan?
What up, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Yeah, but, I mean, I've been part of this mastermind, with my wife for over 10 years. So, I know how it feels to be in a mastermind, though,
Hey, my wife and I have been married 10 years ourselves. So it's definitely collaboration in marriage.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Evan, man, what's up, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm multitasking.
hey, man, look, we elevating the conversation tonight, man. We got this awesome guy, Webmaster Duke, on, dropping some knowledge, man, talking about masterminds and collaboration. So, I always love your input, my brother. So what I want to know from you is, what do you recommend for people? How do they start elevating the conversation? What does somebody need to do, to get out this mindset of they're blaming Monday?
What do they need to do?
Mm-hmm.
They gotta get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Hey, just right to it, huh?
Yeah, you gotta get sick. I mean, you change in one or two ways. You either change by desperation or by inspiration. And if you're lucky, you're going to be inspired to change. But most people, unfortunately, they wait till they desperate. And so when you say, not hating Mondays, one of the things is, you got to be around people that don't hate Mondays. I don't hate Mondays anymore, because I'm not looking to Friday for a payday. I get paid every day. So, I think I was saying earlier today, it's funny because someone made a comment. They said that once you liberate yourself, and what we mean by that is once you have the power to speak your own voice without having to worry about getting fired.
Yeah, right.
Right. Sometimes I go to these meetings, I go to board meetings, I go to all these things, and you have Black Chamber of Commerce, all these different places, and they just can't speak their own truth because they worry about what their voice might happen later on and have some type of repercussion. So when you truly are free and you get around people that are free-minded, free-spirited, free-spoken, you start to see a difference, elevation in the conversation. And now you can connect with people that don't, not that I care, but at the same time, I don't give a damn.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. I totally agree, man. I just want to, I was having the same conversation. So like, I was just having this conversation with somebody earlier because, they were asking me about economy, and I had to let them know, like, the reason why we don't see sites, because I built the Black search engine. It's like a Black Google. It only returns results that are owned by Black-owned people, or Black-owned businesses, or by ebony people, websites that are ran by them. So it's ebonomy.com. Now, like in building that site, I had to think about why hasn't anyone built something like this? Because when you think of like the people in my industry, they all make like $100,000 or better. All of the engineers that are capable of building, these high level things. But when they're at a level making all of this money, they don't want to leave their job, right? And they don't want to start appearing too pro-Black because now they got to go in the job and they got to worry about their bosses looking at them sideways, their coworkers like, oh, here goes the Black guy, the pro-Black guy, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, when you don't have to worry about that anymore, because that's how I felt like when I was working in corporate America, man. Like I always felt like I had to bite my tongue about certain, even though I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, and that's part of the reason why me and corporate America didn't really get along, because, I wasn't the type to bite my tongue too much. But yeah, man.
Well, you got so many, you got so many people out there that are worried about the consequences, like you say. So for those people, and I'm gonna elevate it a little bit further, is I kind of take it back to the school because they're not teaching you at a young age personal development. So the people are being raised to the mentality of go to school, get education, get your degree, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go out there and get a job. But then when you're going to get a job, guess what? They still got the shackles on you because now in our mind, we're like, hey, we got to continue to work here. So we can't speak our mind freely. We can't do whatever it is that we want to do. And as an entrepreneur, you can then do that. So we got to take it even further back to the kids. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we take it back, man. It's the same thing, right? So me, when I was in school, I was in the 3rd grade and I was reading on the 9th grade level. But guess why I couldn't be in the 9th grade? Because of my age, not because of my capability. So the same thing happens when you graduate and you get off into a job. It has nothing to do with your capability. They're not going to pay you based off your capability. They're going to pay you based off a job. So then you got to ask yourself, well, should I do more if I'm going to get paid the same? Should I do less? I'm going to get paid the same. So it's something happens when you step out of that matrix and you say, you know what? I want to get paid based on my performance.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I want to get paid based off my performance. When you decide, or when you start seeing people who are getting paid based off of their performance and they kicking ass, then now you're like, well, hey, if it's possible for them, maybe it's possible for me.
Yep. And they got to understand their worth too, because many times we go on interviews and they say, well, we're paying this, and unfortunately for me in the industry that I am, it's not what you're paying me. This is what I want, and if you're not going to pay me this, then we need to go ahead and cut this conversation short. I'm going on to the next interview. But you can't be afraid to say that. You know what I mean? Understand your worth.
Yeah. So at this point in time, guys, I told somebody today I'm unemployable. And what I mean by it wasn't that I said I'll work with somebody, but I'm not going to work for someone. You know,
Right.
I'm not in that. I'm past that position of, and I'm to that stage in my life where I'm unemployable. If I know that you'll pay me $20 an hour, $160 a day, and I know all I got to do is get one customer, make $160. Well, I'm going after that one customer. I'm not going after the 8 hours. So once your mind starts to change into the possibilities of what you can do with your ideas, with your creativity, with your salesmanship, with your networking ability, with your ability to make connections like we're doing here, I'm just increasing my net worth just by being on the show.
Right.
Absolutely.
And look, we got 7 people here. So you got, just imagine all the people that should be here who aren't here, and then they're wondering why their Mondays suck.
They're watching TV and doing non-income producing activities.
Right.
Living unconsciously. Yeah, that's what people
right.
do.
Exactly.
This world has a way of putting you to sleep, man. I'm telling you. You're watching the TV, listen to the radio, not getting around, not self-development. But like you said, Calvin, we didn't learn about self-development. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I go speak to the schools, and now I'm telling them, hey, you know what? Strangest Secret. They should have told you to read this book or listen to this audio, but we had to read Kill a Mockingbird for some strange damn reason.
So we were talking about Napoleon Hill earlier. Have any of you guys ever read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill?
I haven't read that one.
Haven't read that one either.
So,
what's the name of it again?
Outwitting the Devil.
Outwitting the Devil. They actually have a free audiobook version of it on YouTube because, Napoleon Hill books were written so long ago. I think they're public domain now, but I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But the thing is, he wrote this book way back, like around the time when he wrote Think and Grow Rich. He would not let his book get released while he was still alive. After he died, his wife still wouldn't let it get released until after she died, and his family just let the book get released literally 5 years ago or something like that. But this book is deep. I like the audio book because what's that dude with the deep voice, Louis Gossett Jr. or something like that. He played the devil voice with the deep voice, you know what I mean? And because it's going to get to a part in the book where Napoleon Hill is actually having a conversation with the devil, but they got this concept. They talk about drifters in the book. It's real interesting because think about how many people drift through life, go through life unconsciously, and the different forces that we got that create this drifting in people, because that's what I think is one of the biggest failures of our culture, just doing stuff, watching TV, playing video games, just doing stuff unconsciously when that time is, they don't realize the value of that time. You know what I mean? Time is not money. I hate when people say that because if you do nothing with your time is worthless, right? So, time that you put in effort is worth something, you know what I mean? But too many people just go through life just unconscious. It's crazy, man. But y'all got to check that book out.
Yeah,
that would
definitely sound like something to read. You know how long my read list is?
yeah, man. Me too, man. I go through a few books a week, man. I'm a big reader, man. I love reading. Man.
So Zach, you mentioned you asking what you need to do to stop being mad. Hey, read. What does reading do, guys? What does reading really do? And of course it matters what you read, but reading itself, man, it helps you to develop patience. It helps you to increase your level of thinking for ideas. People don't have an income problem; they have an idea problem. If they focus on their ideas, they'd be rich, but they don't. They focus on trying to make more money, which is great. But how do you make more money? By having more ideas. I can go on and on. But reading, and even if it's listening to the audio book or watching your mentor on YouTube or something, we got smartphones. You got to ask yourself, am I doing anything smart with it?
Right.
We got the power of the whole world in our hand. I got the whole world in my hand, and all I want to do is go to Love and Hip Hop. Come on, man. You gotta do something different.
Absolutely.
I'm out here making deals in Africa. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Hey, listen, man. Evan, I tell people all the time, if I'm not making money from this right here, something ain't right.
Yeah.
I'm just not on Facebook to be on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm making money on Facebook. And I mean, Duke said it, man. Look, well, no, Evan, you were talking about how you would rather, make the $100 than spend 8 hours. See, people don't know how to leverage their time, to do that type of stuff. I'm just saying, look, I got a friend in Atlanta. I talk about him a lot because this guy's a great entrepreneur named David Shands. And he told me a long time ago, he said, Zach, What you got to do is find you a daily income goal every single day. He's like, take all your expenses or whatever, figure out how much you need monthly, and then create a daily income goal every single day. He said for some people it may be $100, it may be $200, but he was like, you do not sleep until you get your daily income goal. And then he's like, once you hit that one goal, you know you can do it, you go to the next goal. So I know people that make $1,000 in an hour. Why would they go to work when they can make $1,000 in an hour? It makes absolutely no sense. They learn how to leverage their time, which created some passive income. So people got to understand time. Understand time is the one thing we can never get back. So why are you keep investing it in some place you hate to go? If you hate to go there, it's time to change something up. But I think what needs to happen is when we're elevating this conversation, is teaching people how they can build their daydream while they're still working their day job. Right, because some people don't understand, how can I make this happen? You know, they're like, Zach, all this sounds good, but how do I make that happen? I got this dream. I have a lot of ideas. How do I implement it? So I'm going to present that to the panel. Like, how do they implement it?
And you know what, Zach? That's the funny thing, and I know you guys probably got some things to add, is that by having this conversation is great, right? But I found that I can have this conversation and tell everyone right now, but I found that most people only want to get this information when they pay me for it. They pay me to talk to them about this stuff. It is crazy. And I get on Blab and I tell them the same stuff, but for some reason they need that one-on-one direct attention and to feel like you're talking directly to them. You're saying the same thing. But to kind of give you something as far as going from what you hate to what you love, I guess this is what we're talking about, right? To leverage your time to start doing what you love to do. First, you got to find out what you love to do. You got to take some time figuring out what it is that you love to do. And when I mean what you love to do, what I tell people is that the moment that I found out what I was willing to die for, that's when my life changed. Martin Luther King said that if you haven't figured out what you're willing to die for, then you're not fit to live. And so many people are just living through existence and haven't figured out what they want to die for, dying to yourself. So what are you willing to die for? What is it that you love to do? Because once you find out what you love to do, then you start leveraging your time. You start using some of your time to do what you love to do, and then you start doing it more. And then eventually, what you love to do, and I believe that there's power and there's profit in your purpose. There's power and there's profit in your purpose. Why? Because when you're doing what you love to do, that's what the whole world needs for you to do. There's some service that you're bringing. There's some problem that you're solving by doing what you love to do. And hopefully it's not just smoking weed. I'm talking about doing something productive with your life. And when you're doing that, you're bringing a value to the marketplace. Now, what happens when you bring value to the marketplace? There's an exchange. It's called money. Money is an exchange of value for value. When you're bringing value to the marketplace, they're paying you for the value that you're bringing. So what do you love to do? That's where you got to spend your first moments figuring out, man, what is it that I love to do? What did I used to do when I was young and I just love to do it? You know, and for me, for example, it's hard to explain sometimes. I've been like this master connector. I was always the matchmaker in school. Oh, you know, yeah, you need to talk to him. You need to talk to him. So now I become like the master middleman. What did that do for me? I learned how to build networks. I learned how to bring a Zach and a Calvin together. They didn't know each other. They know me. I see that there's some harmony that can be there. Boom, put y'all together. Y'all go build a business. I took what I used to love to do, matchmaking, and now I'm figuring out how I can do it to be a benefit to the rest of the world. Okay, I'll shut up. I know you guys got something to say.
Well, I thought that was particularly interesting what you said, but I want to ask the question. You know, when we're in school and the teachers are not teaching us the real curriculum that needs to be taught, when they're bringing the firemen and the policemen in, but they're not bringing the successful entrepreneur in or the successful motivator in. You know, I guess it's just help me wrap my brain around why it's so hard for the majority of us to come out of school and know what we want to do.
Well, you know what I'll have to say, Calvin, because first of all, let me just say this. School is there to enrich you, not to make you rich. So school is there to give you basic skills and development, you know, certain disciplines to prepare you, you know, for some of the stuff you're going to go through in the real world. But you're right, like you said earlier, they do prepare you most of the time for a job. So first of all, like Evan's saying, you got to find what you love. And sometimes you got to go seek it out yourself. Okay, if you know what you're doing right now is not your passion and you don't love it, instead of you being stuck there, what are you doing on a daily basis to get unstuck? If nothing, then it doesn't hurt bad enough. Okay. Also, people like us, I feel like we have to sometimes go to, these communities and let them know there is a better way. Again, going back to my friend in Atlanta, he has a high school tour. He talks to high school kids every single week because we have to bring this message of freedom, entrepreneurship, following your passion to the masses, because there are a lot of people out there that's not doing it. And they just really don't have a clue because nobody really is taught them. Like, luckily, like I said, I've been blessed that my dad has been a major impact in my life. He's taught me freedom, own your own business. This was just, I had that in my life.
Right.
Other people don't have that. So we got to sometimes take an initiative to go to them. And if they're willing to get the information, hey, we got to share it with them, man, because people, they just don't know and they choosing to stay stuck.
We literally have to get to the kids early, man. I just went with David to where we go, Lovejoy, talk to some seniors. And by the time they juniors and seniors, they already have been shaped. I mean, it was fascinating. Like they can't even, like, we get to the point where we can't even say I want to be rich. Like, saying that feels like it's not right for me to want to be rich, as if I'm supposed to be poor. It's the craziest thing to me when I'm trying to remold and reshape and bring some new ideas of freshness into the minds of our youth, and then obviously the minds of our young adults and the minds of adults. So if a 15, 16-year-old is not open to receive, that just goes even further when you talk about 20 years from there, 30 years from there. These people, they have to be. I don't know, man. It's one of those tough things to crack, but you find a diamond in the rough, and that's it. I mean, but you gotta keep planting seeds, and hopefully, eventually, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Well, I thought that was going to be my next point. David Shands going out to the schools, and I think that's a part of the puzzle that we have absolutely got to hit. And the second part is doing exactly what we're doing right now, coming together and putting this information out so that it can be viewed to other people, because a lot of the average people out there, they need the right motivation. And the right motivation isn't always given from at home. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's given, outside of the homes. Listen to someone else that may be that person that's on the streets with them, or maybe, and I hate to say this on I know we're recording, but maybe that homeboy slanging with them in the streets or something like that. You know what I mean? Somebody that can really deep down touch them.
Yeah. But I think we all can touch them, though, because when I went to the meeting the other day and they were talking about, what do we need to do to get them away from like Pookie and them, I was like, you act like you didn't used to be Pookie and them. I know I got some people that used to strip in this meeting right now. I know I got some people that got some friends that used to, smoke weed or sell weed. And this, let's not act like we're so far removed from the very same thing that we are from.
Right.
If we don't know what's going on in the streets, you know what I'm saying? So we can relate to them, and that's the power of your testimony. We don't share it enough. We share the testimony from when we got delivered and we feeling good now to now, but we don't go back and share the testimony when we were really jacked up. We don't share that part. Yeah. And so now you got this place where you say, how can you relate to me? You ain't never been jacked up. You so perfect, and you telling the story from when you were perfect up until moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I love telling the story. So before I started working in corporate America, I did 3 years in prison before I joined corporate America.
See, that right there that's already you're gonna get connected to some people that's like, man, this brother's keeping it real with me.
And the thing is, it was just for it was dumb if you ask me. It was for weed, right? But the thing is, we get slapped with these felonies, and then we come home being expected. And I feel like, the culture that's down, they need some motivation, right? Because you were talking about what keeps people back from making it sometimes, right? And I really think that people complaining about their situation, because that's one thing that I hear too much is people complaining. People always complain about why they can't do something. People will set a goal and they will think of every reason why they can't accomplish that goal. That makes me sick talking to people like this. And it's like, that's why you haven't accomplished your goal, because the only thing that you think about is reasons why you can't do it, or you're focusing on a goal and you know, you're looking at the final results, and the journey is seeming too long for you. You got to take it one step at a time, one day at a time. You know, like when, you know, I came home in 2010, so you know, by 2013, I'm working in corporate America, making 6 figures a year. You know, like, you know, I was not lucky, but I was fortunate to get that, but not, you know, because I was lucky, because opportunity met being prepared. So I was prepared for the opportunities when they presented themselves. You know, I've always been a programmer. You know, I've been a programmer since, you know, I was in elementary school. I started programming in the 4th grade when they put me in a school for gifted children in Syracuse, New York, for kids with certain IQs. You know, it was me and, you know, another black kid, and, you know, and we were the only 2 black kids in the school. We went there, you know, twice a week or whatever, but I learned stuff like, you know, how to program. That's when I started programming computers. Learned stuff like chemistry, optometry, economics, you know, criminal justice. We used to have mock, you know, courtroom sessions and investigations, learning how to, you know, all types of college level stuff, right? And I'm in elementary school, and this stuff, you know, and I just kept this as I went through life, and, you know, going, you know, so, you know, I tell that my story, you know, to tell you, because, you know, I don't want anybody thinking I started there, you know, because my story doesn't start at going to prison, just like, you know, just like, you know, our story doesn't start with slavery. You know, I think too often we try to focus on, you know, telling the bad parts. And that's why, you know, I bring it up sometimes because I'm not ashamed of it, but I try not to focus on that, because, you know, I'd rather use the positive energy and, you know, give that off. But, you know, I understand that me sharing that can give some people motivation, you know, depending on the situation. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's no superhero that did not overcome some obstacle in any story that's ever told. They got to have some opposition. They got to have an obstacle. So our testimony is our obstacle, our breakthrough, our overcoming, and that is what moves people. That's what converts people. Whether you're talking about religion, or you're talking about sales, or you're talking about improving the lives of the youth, it is your testimony that converts people. I think I need to say that again, because we've got some people here that's having a hard time in sales, and I'm a master salesman, in case you don't know. It's your testimony. When people can connect to you and your story, and they can trust and believe you, people do business with people that they like, they know, and they trust. How does somebody get to know you? By you telling them your story. 10Xing, right? I know Grant's story. You know, I know some of the stock market friends' story that I followed. I know their story.
I just read Grant Cardone's book 10X, man. That was a good book, man. I just read that like last week.
Zach, I'm sorry for cutting you off, sir.
No, man, look, y'all dropping knowledge, man. Y'all saying everything I was going to say. Like, your story is somebody else's testimony. They have to hear, you know, how you overcame something. And like I put in the comment stream, because Duke was talking about programming. We got to learn how to reprogram our minds, right?
Absolutely.
But I don't know if you know Haziq Ali. You know him?
No.
Well, Haziq Ali, if I don't know him, follow him on Facebook, man. Good brother. I do a daily affirmation call, you know, with him every day at 7:30 in the morning. And one thing that he talks about, one of the affirmations we say every single day, is that my mind visualizes my goals as already done. That's one of the things we say every single day, because your mind has to visualize it before it ever happens. But if your mind can't visualize it, and you always trying to figure out a reason why it can't happen, then it's never going to happen. Yeah. So when Duke was saying that just resonated with me, because it's absolutely true. You got to reprogram your mind and already visualize that it can happen. And then when you hear somebody else's story, like, hey, you know, if not to get real religious or anybody, but if God is no respecter of person, you know, if he can go through it and overcome, I can do it too. I just have to stay as consistent as he did. And that's it. And I want to welcome Carleon. Carleon jumped on. So, hey, what's going on, man? What's your input, Carleon?
That's that online entrepreneur, man. He be following me on EIG.
I follow you everywhere, Evan. I follow you everywhere. Facebook, on Blab, everywhere, man. Believe. I've seen a lot of your sessions. My insight, man, I've been sitting in the background just gaining these nuggets, man. I love this, man. This is a great conversation, man. And Webmaster Duke, man, I can relate to you, man, on the whole going to jail thing and then coming back out. Like I didn't do 3 years, but I got 2 felonies, and I basically with a disability also, and I basically was in the state of I had gained all this knowledge of working with electronics, doing IT, computer repairs. Then from there, doing networking. And I was in a position to where, like, where I was at, where I'm from, they made it so hard for me to get a job, because it was either you got 2 felonies, or your disability, your liability. So what I did was I didn't give up on it. I did massive footwork and started passing out flyers downtown Cleveland, Ohio, until everybody who was anybody started communicate with me to help me build my own business up. So from that, man, I just was like, you know, if this is where it's at for me, ain't no point in me filling out applications no more. I'm about to stick to this until it gets me to that next level. And then, like, once I got into network marketing, at first I was led astray for a long time, and then I found a mastermind, man, and it completely altered and changed my life, to not bringing me back to that point when I first started learning about network marketing, because I literally only dedicated 2 months, didn't make no money, and quit.
Yeah,
straight like that.
So how did you do that? How did you do that? Did you change your mindset? That's what I hear you saying, is that, you know,
man, I had to completely reformulate my mind, and also I had to change my environment, man. And one thing I always like to tell people that my elders always told me, man, if you can't change the people around you, you got to change the people around you, man. And that's very important for certain people that grow up in a certain environment. When your mindset on another level, and these people in your environment still trying to keep you in that maze that y'all been in for the whole time, from little kids to high school to growing up out of high school, in college, going to jail, out of jail, all that situation. You got to reformulate and get away from them people, man. Like, right. Literally, man, I spend most of my time by myself, bro. And I have no problem with it at all, because I'm resonating myself to build my skills up, man, and interact with people like y'all, man. This yes. Y'all my community. This
yeah,
the type of community that I need around.
Thing about online, man, you can make whatever circle, whatever mastermind, whatever anything, you can make it anywhere you want. You know, it doesn't have to be your family, your friends, or people that's in your city. Now you can just go to the lab, find someone that's doing what you want to do, connect with them, read their books, talk to them live stream, get on podcasts, join some groups. You can make a network now. It doesn't have to be in your physical, location. That is the power that we have available to us now, not just the information age, but the connection age. Let me say that again. Not just the information age, but the connection age. Again, I'm doing business across the world, not just in Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm from. And you guys can do the exact same thing. Go ahead, Webmaster. Sorry about that.
No. I wanted to respond to Carl Leon before what I wanted to say to you, bro, was I really believe that, being in jail a lot of times is mental more than it is physical. You know what I mean? Because I meet way more people, I feel like, out here that are, enslaved mentally, but they're free physically. You know what I mean? And that's what I think, where this conversation, to circle back around to the topic, is, it's all about changing your mindset. Because one thing about me is, when I was doing those 3 years, I never pictured myself as mentally being enslaved. So what I did was I read plenty. That's when I started getting exposed to, I first read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Then that led me to the Cashflow Quadrant. Then I went to Anthony Robbins' Unlimited Power. Then I'm reading, Think and Grow Rich. The Black Choice, then this Kimbrough came after. And then I'm just on this cycle of reading these entrepreneur magazines. I'm in the tech, so I'm keeping up what's going in the tech industry. I started mastermind groups in there, started teaching in the education department, helping people get their GEDs. So it was like, I never really, let them get me mentally, because you see the people in there, they just gone mentally. They walking dead. But you see the same thing out here in the streets. You see people that just go through life unconsciously. They complain about their jobs, but they do nothing. They do nothing to get out of the situation. They'll come home and talk about the people at work the whole night after they get off of work, when that time could have been spent towards putting in that time to chase your dreams, man. But I commend you, man, for changing your mindset. I think it's a matter of what all of y'all was saying. It's just reprogramming your mind, reprogramming yourself. I think that's what it's all about, to you know, free yourself, you know, in all types of ways, you know. So I think 9 to 5 is the new is like the new slavery too, you know, working at a job. Once you become a slave to that paycheck, and it doesn't, what I learned from being in corporate America was it doesn't change after you making 6 figures. It gets worse because now you making all of this money. You like, man, I feel good. I'm making $100,000 a year. But you know what? You'll go through your whole life making, you know, they might give you a couple little raises, but you could never get rich off of making that paycheck. I don't care if it's 100,000, 150, 200,000 a year. You can't get rich off of that unless you do something else with it. But yeah, I think we lost you.
Absolutely, absolutely. We want to welcome everybody to the Blab. We've just been elevating the conversation, guys, talking a lot about mindset, how to help people have a breakthrough in their current situation. And I mean, I told you, Webmaster, it gets deep, man. Like every time we do this Blab, we get a lot of thought leaders come on, man, drop some input. And, you know, I really just want to have these conversations to help people find some solutions, man. Have them see like, okay, there is other options out there than just going to a job that you hate. Because at the end of the day, I used to have a mentor tell me, he said, Zach, regardless of them making 6 figures or whatever they think they're making at a job, he said they look good, they smell good, and they're broke. And they're enslaved to somebody else. So, you know, it's nothing like creating lifestyle freedom, being able to do what you want to do on your terms rather than have to answer to somebody else. And I just feel like, man, we got to have more conversations like this to elevate people, help them change their mindset, and tell our stories. We're like, man, I was where you was at. You know, I was at that job that I hated, but guess what? I did something about it. And that's the reason why I wore the shirt tonight, the execution over excuses, because at the end of the day, you got to execute.
Exactly. It's all about execution.
That's right. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares about it. Like, what you going to do about it? You know, is your why big enough that's going to make you take action? And you got to take massive action every single day to attain the things you want to attain. Like, it's nobody's job to make you do it except you. You got to go out there and make it happen.
But at some point, life is going to make you take action. So why not take control of your life? You know what I mean? If you don't take action, right, what are you going to be left with? Oh, now I'm stressed out. Now I'm getting sick. Now I got to go to the hospital. Now I got to take action. Oh, now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to take action at some point. Why not do it now? You know that it's coming. You know what? When I quit my job, I knew I was going to quit my job a year before I quit it. I knew it was coming. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm quitting my job today. No, I knew that thing was coming. We know what's coming. We know it. We can literally see destruction in front of us and still go out and walk on side, you know what I mean, and just keep on walking. We literally see it coming. I mean, how many people, we say this all the time, you know, I'm working just enough so, you know, I don't get fired and they're paying me just enough so I won't quit. And we know it's coming. We know we're ready to walk out our job 6 months from now. And the question is, are we going to prepare? Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Opportunity comes by you all the time. Are you preparing to be able to see? Here's the deal, guys. This is my last thing I'll say, and I'll go. It didn't take courage for me to quit my job. It didn't take courage. That was easy. Quitting was easy. It took courage for me to pursue my dream. Let me repeat that again. It didn't take courage for me to quit my job. That was easy. Well, the hard thing was for me to have the courage to pursue my dream, to live the life that I wanted to live. That was where the courage came in.
Absolutely. That's a nugget. And with that, listen, guys, it's 10:10. Normally I keep this about an hour, you know, every single time we do it. And man, we elevated this conversation tonight. So I appreciate all of my panelists being on, man, dropping these golden nuggets. And one thing I want to say, for anybody that's out there that's looking for a way to continue this conversation, to continue elevating your life, if you're looking for a mastermind, like I said, we have a mastermind called Create Lifestyle Freedom. On Facebook, it's First Biz Steps. And we welcome you to come join us, continue the conversation, guys, and let's keep helping each other, you know, elevate ourselves, you know, changing other people's mindsets, man, and help them break out this mentality that Monday sucks. Because it's not Monday that sucks. We all know that. It's called First Biz Steps. I'm going to post it right now. First Biz Steps. And that is the link to First Biz Steps. And our motto is Create Lifestyle Freedom. 3 words that resonate with a wide range of people. So I definitely appreciate you, Webmaster, for hopping on. Carla Young, always a pleasure. Hey, look, I'm following everybody on here. Everybody that joined in the audience, I followed you guys. Follow me back. I do this blab every single Monday at 9. Carla Young, you have a blab you do, right? What day is your blab on?
Friday, every Friday night.
Friday
at
night
10,
financial
Friday
picks.
night financial.
And I'm
picks.
doing one every day. I'm starting one every day too.
Different ways.
At 8 o'clock, or I don't know, between 7 and 8. I'm still deciding on the time, but I'm starting
Okay.
one up, man. I'm getting it together, man.
Well, let us know, man. We definitely come support you. Evan, what's your next event? Everybody come check out, man.
So I do a blab every day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Wealthy, Healthy, Happy show. Every day at 8 a.m. Your Monday mind shift. So you need to get motivated. You need to do your money thing. That's where it's at. The upcoming event is actually going to be your Face Your Finances. It's going to be a journey on how to get to financial freedom. So if you find yourself knee deep in debt, you need some help, and we're going to be able to help you. And that's what's coming up for me. So I got a lot of stuff I do with kids and things like that, but that's the big thing for the adults. Adult Vest, Face Your Finances, really excited about being able to help people take control of their money.
Yeah, could I say one more thing, man? If y'all check out ebonomy.com, man, and send me y'all URLs to y'all website so I could crawl y'all websites and index them into the search engine, please. If you email me, you can email me. The email address is on the site, but I'm in the process of creating a functionality for people to create accounts and be able to input their own URLs. But meanwhile, okay, I already got one. So yeah, man, please send me those URLs so I can get everybody's site indexed, so I don't have to come on it through a different source. You know what I mean? So thank y'all, though. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you being on, man, giving that awesome input. So we definitely going to stay connected. Anybody watching this replay, connect with us, man. We want to stay connected and mastermind. So with that, I'm going to stop the recording, and I appreciate my